Hello and welcome. I am Mary Virginia Parrish, a professor and writer at State College here in Louisville.
I am Laura Clay, president of the Kentucky Equal Rights Association. We would like to welcome you here to Kentucky.
To Louisville. We hope you enjoy this national conference
of the National American Women's Suffrage Association
for the National Association of Colored Women.
Our plenary meetings will take place in the gorgeous Macaulay Theater.
Thank you to the Chestnut Street Colored Methodist Episcopal Church and to the Reverend Dr. James McClanahan for opening your doors to us.
We will take our lunches at the Seelbach Hotel.
Our gratitude to Women's Association of the Church for the meals provided to us. We have provided
many interesting speakers.
We will delve into the work of our many committees.
We will further our many initiatives.
Chairs, please make yourselves known.
Literature,
social science,
art,
young women's work,
rescue work,
humane mothers work,
music,
parliamentary work,
church clubs,
kindergarten business,
and tuberculosis.
Juvenile court.
In all of our work, ladies,
remember, it is the ballot we are after.
Thank you for having me in this session, ladies. I was so pleased to see the report on your national training school.
The seed for that school was sown right here in Louisville.
Oh.
Nettie and I started the school for the Association of Colored Women and taught classes in the industrial school.
We've even received accolades from the Career Journal, our local paper.
Oh, that is impressive.
We believe that education is the firmest foundation on which to build leadership.
Indeed. And when we achieve the franchise, which we will, schools such as yours for women and girls will be instrumental on how we educate ourselves and one another on how to best wield our new responsibility.
Yes. Heaven forbid we appear uneducated. There are many who fear an uneducated vote.
Really, Nettie, it's not like you to mince words.
Well, with the exhortation from our colleagues, Mrs. Booth and Mrs. Cohen, to have more colored girls trained as kindergarten teachers in their program, I am keenly aware of misperceptions today.
Did you feel that they were suggesting that our training is somehow lacking?
And yet, they attended the conference and proclaimed publicly that the course of study taken by the girls attending the Louisville Free Kindergarten Association classes was the same as those of the colored girls.
And why should that be a surprise to anyone?
It shouldn't be. But yet, they are there with their colleagues who oppose universal suffrage. That influence is a powerful tool.
I would like to make a suggestion. Our national newsletter is widespread and renowned.
I am pleased with this morning's vote on increasing funding towards it.
Exactly. With the affirmation of the value of our writing, I proposed a series of essays from our educational committee on the strength of our current educational institutions and their importance on educating our future voting public.
I have a great deal to say on that topic.
I'm sure you do, Georgia, but I believe it's time for lunch.
Mrs. Parrish, I believe it's 4 p.m. We've worked past the meal.
Oh, Mrs. Washington.
Maggie.
I'm so sorry. Let's get you some substance.
Maggie, what you said earlier about the power of influence, we're hoping that you can bend your husband's ear to the subject of the training school.
Our first order of business for future conference planning. Mrs. Martha Grainig, our colleague in New York, seeks to bring a resolution declaring solidarity not only with disenfranchised women, but with all denied the right to vote, including Negro men. Mrs. Bergman, you know as well as I that is untenable. I know nothing of the sort.
The Nassau leadership won't allow this sort of resolution to even come to the floor.
The Committee on Health and Hygiene is on recess. Mrs. Leach has the tea ready. Shall I have her bring it in? Not now, Dr. Ingram. Thank you. Mrs. Clay, at this juncture, I think it is necessary to remember the words of our morning speaker, Mrs. Mary Windsor. Anna.
Do not pay attention to the dismal forebodings of your family and friends when you join the suffragists. Of course, they think you've disgraced the family name for a while, but they will soon come around.
I'm heading into the session on college women. Caroline is getting a bit testy about the tea.
Not now, my dear. We're at a critical juncture.
As I recall, Mrs. Windsor also entreated us to be nice, but be vulgar if necessary. And that is just what a resolution like this will be seen as. Vulgar. Oh, Mrs. Clay, there is nothing vulgar about our fight for common humanity. But an initiative such as this needs to be introduced gently, Alma, quietly.
Perhaps, Mrs. Clay, it is better to be loud upon occasion than to sit so meekly by that few know of one's existence.
Oh, it's cold.
This looks delicious.
They do treat us so right.
What have you thought of the speakers so far?
I think they have brought up some excellent points and have been, on the whole, engaging speakers, though maybe not as exciting as speakers at other national conventions Louisville is seeing.
Continue.
I mean, you have seen who the suffragists have brought as their speaker at the national convention.
No, Nanny. You know, I've been busy with work at the school, and not to mention trying to raise my son up in the right way.
Well, you have heard about Emmeline Pankhurst on the run from the law in England.
The militant suffragists.
The same. Though I do admire the headway she has been able to achieve.
Imagine if we acted the way she did.
Oh, there is no question about it.
We must set a higher, more Christian example.
Even though throwing stones through windows may seem tempting every once in a while.
And now, before we are served, we will be hearing from Miss Jane Addams of Chicago, founder of Hull House and the president of the National Conference of Charities and Corrections.
Hello, everyone. I am very pleased to be here. I have many friends from Chicago who were first and foremost from Louisville. Among them, there is none more charming than Mrs. Susan Look Avery. Now more than 90 years old, but still youthful in the most beautiful meaning of the word. I do wish that she were able to be here. When I once asked her how she managed in her green old age, she promptly replied, "I'm espousing always the unpopular cause." When I managed to ask her how she managed in her green old age, she promptly replied, "I'm espousing always the unpopular cause." When you lead a popular cause, people treat you with such veneration and such consideration, you just sit back and do nothing but grow old. She said, when I was in Louisville, I was an abolitionist and, of course, led an unpopular cause, and then I took up women's suffrage. I've never had time to grow old peacefully since, child, there's nothing like unpopularity to keep you young. And so I'm passing that advice on to you.
Good evening, delegates, honored guests, and attendees. What better way to start off our evening than with the angelic voices of the children's choir? Much gratitude to Alice Nugent for leading this effort. I would like to take this time to remind you of the Women's Day fundraiser to help young women to become leaders in their community, like each and every one of you. Please consider purchasing a copy of my script, Slabtown District Convention. It is a delightfully fun play to take back and perform with your congregations and your community groups. We have nearly made our target goal of $25 and currently are at $20.20. Thank you for your continued support. It is for the utilization of talent and the stimulation of Christian activity in our Baptist churches that prompt us to serve. We realize that to allow these gems to lie unpolished longer means a loss to the denomination. Surely, women somehow have had a very important part in the work of saving the redeemed earth. It is with great admiration and respect I present to you today the wife of Booker T. Washington, First Lady of Tuskegee School, the co-founder of the National Association for Colored Women, and a polished gem, Mrs. Margaret Murray Washington.
Thank you to my good friend and confidant, Miss Nanny Burroughs, for such a lovely welcome. I am honored to be your final guest of the evening here at the 7th Biennial Women's Conference. I am grateful to the Chestnut Street Colored Methodist Episcopal Church and Reverend Dr. James McClanahan for opening their doors so that we may gather here at this moment in time together. In consenting to come before you, women, today, I am influenced by this thought more than anything else. We need, as a race, a good, strong public sentiment in favor of a sounder, healthier body, and a cleaner and higher tone morality. There is no arguing. We do not think enough of these two conditions. We are too indifferent, too ready to say, oh, well, I keep well. My girls and my boys behave themselves, and I have nothing to do with the rest of the race. For 5 years, in one of the largest southern cities alone, the excess in the death rate among colored children under the age of 5 years old was 163%, while those of white children was 32% and a fraction. It is no longer a compliment to a girl or a woman to be of frail and delicate mold. It is no longer an indication of refinement in women to possess a weak and fastidious stomach. Let us teach our boys and our girls to some useful occupations. Let us insist upon intelligent and moral ministry. Let us employ teachers only who are above reproach. And above all, let those of us who have had an opportunity, who have had educational advantages, modify our cause lines to stoop down now and then to lift up others.
Now for the closing night address. We are proud to present the woman at the forefront of the British women's suffrage movement, Miss Emmeline Pankhurst.
After 5 years of almost civil war, clashing with police, hunger strikes, and learning jiu-jitsu and self-defense, we have got the promise of suffrage. We began with argument. When we found that argument was accomplishing nothing, we went to the record of men's enfranchisement and decided to adopt some of the methods that the men themselves had adopted. We made it politically dangerous for the men to oppose us in our movement. We proceeded to make things unpleasant, using a certain amount of annoyance with just the proper proportion of argument. Some refer to our tactics as militant. We only threw a few stones, just enough to let the men know that we were in earnest. Probably 50 stones were thrown during the 3 or 4 years of the agitation. Not a stone went through a window into a meeting hall without the message, "Give women the vote," being attached to it. These methods obtained for us what all our patients had failed to obtain.
Sisters, let us close our time together in prayer. Gracious Lord, grant to our sisters the strength and fortitude to achieve your righteous cause. Look upon our courage, Lord. Look upon us awaiting your justice.